Welcome to Citrus Springs, where affordability meets elegance. Today I'm taking you inside a brand new 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home priced under $270,000. With over 1,800 square feet of modern living space, sleek finishes, and an open concept design perfect for entertaining. This home proves that you don't have to sacrifice style for budget. So whether you're a first-time home buyer, relocating to Florida, or just looking for more space without breaking the bank, this is a rare opportunity you may not want to miss. Stay tuned for more. This is our first time meeting. My name is Joe Denny. I'm a Florida realtor and mortgage broker as well. I'm able to shop up to 61 different lenders to find you a good deal. We have all sorts of programs. We got down payment assistance, reduced rate programs, temporary buy down programs, so many different scenarios that we can put together to help you. If you're not ready for the phone call yet and you want properties just like this to be emailed to you directly, I got a QR code on the screen which will give you access to my VIP list. Also, it's down in the description as well, where you just put some information, tell me what you're looking for, and the moment I get to the computer, after some of these videos and after some of these showings, I'll put together that list for you and I'll send it to you right away. And I've already had many families this month, already like 15 so far, that have subscribed to the VIP list. Not everybody is ready for that phone call right away. Not everybody wants to be bombarded with the calls, the texts, the emails. And they just want, they want the emails, but just with the property list so they can buy a home on their terms. And I'm ready to and willing to work with you on your terms. So do the VIP list if you just want the emails. Call me if you want to get on the phone, or my calendar description. My calendar link is down in the description as well. So if you want to just see when my calendar is open and you want to just hop on a Zoom call or something, just do that as well. Towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you the breakdown of what the numbers look like for a property like this. We're going to talk about where we're located, some of the employers. You're going to see some drone footage. We're also going to give you a sample contract of what it looks like to buy a property in Florida, walk you through the home buying process, tips and tricks as well. So brace yourself. This is going to be a long one, 30, 40, 50 minutes. But if you don't want to watch this entire video and you just want the silent walkthrough, well, there's some music in the background, but the walkthrough of just the home, I got a second channel in the description. You'll find the link as well. You just go there. And what I'm doing is I'm posting all my walkthroughs, just the walkthrough portion of it, on that second channel for the people who just want the raw walkthrough, just seeing the house itself. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. All right, also follow me on Instagram and TikTok. This is gonna be the front profile of your new home. So, sitting on 0.26, so just over a quarter acre, no HOA, no CDD, and I would consider it a complete package because you got the fence. The only thing that would make this property better is if it came with a washer and dryer. So that would like really seal the deal. And if that's a deal breaker, let me know and I can make things, I can make things happen. But let's check around the outside of your property first before we go on the inside. Let me show you guys the front of the property as well, so you can kind of see, like, if you were walking outside, this is kind of like the view that you would have. You got some trees over there, nothing there yet. There is a house being built, possibly next door. You do have a house over here on the side as well. I do see this big tree right here. Kind of makes me nervous with, how close it is to the house itself. I just like to look around for those things as well. One of my recent clients, that was one of his things, to look around for that. And I do kind of know this. Not sure if it was by design. It looks like if it was by design, they put like an extra piece right here. I just hope it doesn't like puncture like the electrical. Kind of weird design there. But a lot of clients like that. I'm super transparent with my process. So if I find the issue, I kind of want to bring it up so that you can figure out if it's a deal breaker for you or not. All right, so you can kind of see that the yard slopes down, and we'll get a better idea of what that looks like when we get into the house as well. Let's go around the other side. put some little flowers here. You have some cute little landscaping right there. All right, this is the other side. Let's go. Oh, all right, so let's open it up here. All right, so we're in your backyard, and then we'll do the inside of the house as well. And you got the lanai over there, so all you gotta do is get the screen in with it has a ceiling fan already there. Look at this yard, it's so peaceful. And there's nothing back there. I'm gonna get the drone up to kind of give you guys an aerial view of like back there. Not sure like if it's buildable back there or not, but if it's not, then you don't really have to worry about having neighbors back there. And you can kind of see how the trees are like right there. They're a little too close for comfort on that side. On this side, it passes the tree test. Nothing too close over here. Closest tree is gonna be over here somewhere. So if anything happens, the damage will probably just be on the fence. Nothing crazy, not affecting your house. But overall, this is a solid backyard. Put a nice little pool here, or the barbecue, some outdoor furniture, fire pit. There's so much you can do with this space, and it's already fenced in. You know, to have a builder that thinks about, you know, those first-time home buyers or those buyers that want the complete package, this is just amazing that we're able to find builders like this in 2025 when all the other ones are like, no, let's just save as much money as possible and be as profitable as possible. So there are still good deals out there like this one. All right, we're inside your house, and let's talk about your living room first. You have 12.52 by 15.90 as far as the dimensions go. You got the vaulted ceilings, so they're kind of going up towards the middle. So it makes this floor plan feel extra spacious because of that. As we step further into your property, you're gonna have your dining area over here, kind of like right under this light fixture. So a lot of people like to think, oh, I'm gonna walk into it. Most likely you're gonna have like a table here. You got the island here next to the kitchen. 2 of the bedrooms are gonna be on this side of the house, whereas your primary is gonna be on the other end of the property. Let's start exploring some of your rooms, and let's open some doors up. All right, so right over here, we have your first door. What do you guys think about these designs that they kind of put on these doors? I like how they're not cookie cutter at all. So you have some storage right over here. And then we have 2 rooms and a bathroom. 9.74 by 10.88. The dimensions of this first room. And by the way, did I forget to mention, this home actually has the blinds already. So you got the blinds, you got more blinds over here as well, which is a plus, and you got them over here as well. I've seen them on the windows before, but then they don't put them on the sliders in the back. Nah, not this one. This one, they thought about that as well, which blinds can get expensive. I heard that sometimes it could be $3,000 or more. And for you to have this home fenced in and blinds already, it's a plus. The only thing missing, like I said before, is a washer and dryer. All right, so 9.74 by 10.88. You have these sliding doors with those similar patterns of like what that little door has, which gives it some character. You got these nice size closets in here. And then this next room is 10.86 by 12. So you're gonna have a bigger room on this side. So whoever wants the view of like the backyard will pick this room. Similar closet right over there. And you get your view of your backyard right there. And you can kind of see if anybody's like driving down the road over there. And we got your bathroom. So nice upgraded countertop right over here. Very nice mirror, 3 little light bulbs right there. Basic tub. I mean, you can't win them all. They put like the tub insert, which some of my clients don't actually like this. It would have been better to put like the backsplash. But overall, you know, you can't really complain in this property with these modern finishes and the blinds and the fence as well. And the fact that they put these doors that are not cookie cutter at all. These aren't like basic doors. They give some character to the house. So I would say that they spent money in the right places on this property. We're in your kitchen. You have your island here. You have the stainless steel appliances. You have the crown molding. So this is what's called crown molding. If you ever see like these pieces on top of the actual like cabinets, that's called crown molding. And if you ever look in the bedrooms and you have a tray ceiling where it's like basically a cutout, and then you see like they'll sometimes put the crown molding inside of the tray. That's like double luxurious, I would say. They put the hardware. Some of these builders go really cheap and they'll give you the cabinets. They won't even put the hardware, but they at least put the hardware here, and you got the soft close cabinets. So you could just like close them and then they'll slowly close right there, as well as some of the soft close over here in this kitchen island as well. Let's head now to your laundry room. Well, first, let's check out your pantry. Pretty nice size pantry. This is gonna be your laundry room over here, and you're gonna have more storage options over here as well. And then you have your 2-car garage. Dimensions in here are gonna be 20 by 20, and then from top to bottom, 8.3 feet. So 20 by 20 by 8. Super clean garage. I just left another property a few minutes ago, and the garage was kind of rough, even though it was new construction. This one's the total opposite. And it looks like they left some extra flooring over here, so if they leave that after closing, you can have some extra flooring. All right, let's enter your primary. You already see the tray ceilings. Super nice touch to the ceiling there. Now, your measurements are, we have 14.52 by 14.30. So those are your dimensions of your room, 14.52 by 14.30. And then you're gonna have your walk-in closet right over here. .90 by 6.03. Here goes your bathroom. So on this one, nice shower. See, this is what I like. They have like, you know, the backsplash, like you don't have like that insert. Man, if they would have did this with the other bathroom, it would have been nice as well. Super clean, super nice. I mean, you can't win them all. The toilet doesn't have its own separate little room with like a poop door, but I think it's a nice bathroom. For the price point especially, I think this is a great value of a property, it being fenced in. And there goes some storage right there. All right, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 5,000 subs. We're about to get the drone up to get like the aerial views and everything. And then we'll head to the home office and we're gonna talk. And we're gonna talk for a while. I'm gonna show you what a contract looks like when you're buying a home in Florida. Well, I'm gonna show you the most popular contract, the FAR bar contract, because a lot of the bigger builders use their own contracts, whereas some of the smaller builders trust us to write the paperwork up for our clients, which I think that's the best way to do it, where we write the paperwork up, we double check it, and we submit it. Whereas some builders are like, no, we'll write it up, we'll take care of it, and then you never hear from them again. Terrible experience. We're also gonna talk about what some of the employers are in the area. We'll talk about some of the numbers when you're looking to buy a property. So we're gonna go over the different loan types. So there's a lot to come with this video, so don't leave yet. Let me get the drone up and do that, and then we'll head back together to the home studio and we'll get started on the next section. All right, we're back at the home studio and we have a lot to go over, so let's dive right in. We're gonna talk about some of the details of this property, some of the numbers, go over the home buying process, a sample contract, talk about some of the top employers in the area, and I'm gonna show you guys on a map where we're located on the property and like what's around this property as well. My goal is to equip you with all the information needed to be ready to potentially put an offer on the property, or to trust me enough to help you in your home buying journey based on how much I like being transparent and what I'm kind of like showing you. So Citrus Springs, Florida, 34433. We're gonna be not too far from Inverness and Crystal River. Some of the nearby amenities is you're gonna have school, shopping, medical centers, parks, and access to Suncoast Parkway. And kind of like what I already told you we're gonna cover, it's right there as well. 269,900. We have a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1453 square feet, 0.26, fully fenced in. And you have the blinds as well throughout the property. So when you think about like a complete package scenario, it doesn't get better than this. So we have 1453, 0.26. Now, let's talk about some of the taxes and insurance and closing costs. Insurance is gonna be an estimate. Once the property, I think, hits like 10 years or older, you gotta get a 4-point inspection to actually get insurance when the property is trading hands. But when it's a brand new construction, the insurance companies will insure it, but I still recommend getting a home inspection. Don't skip that home inspection. Taxes are very controversial. Taxes can be different depending on your scenario. Like, I have a client now who's buying a property, his taxes are exempt. I have a different scenario where the property is being bought as an investment property, taxes are higher because there's no homestead exemption. And I have a scenario with a first-time home buyer, taxes are lower because of the homestead. For a more accurate tax scenario, you should reach out to the tax collector directly. I'm just giving you an estimate what Google and ChatGPT tells me, that it's around 1.45%. I also went on the tax appraiser's, property appraiser, tax collector's website to kind of like simulate that as well. So I'm estimating at 1.45%. I'm estimating insurance at $2,000. I've seen lower insurances. Just got one for like $900 for the year. So I'm overestimating, so the numbers could be better. Closing costs are the fees that are associated with buying a property. And you'll see in the sample contract what those fees, like what they are. But as far as a number goes, we're gonna estimate right around 4%. It's not a perfect number, but it's just an estimate. And if you're short the money for the closing costs, then call me and we'll find the seller who's motivated enough to pay your closing costs to help you out. These rates change every single day, so these scenarios are going to be based on these rates here. So assuming we went with a VA loan where you're putting 0% down, there's a common misconception that the VA loan is like no money out of pocket. So yeah, it's no down payment, but there's still closing costs to buy a house, the home inspection, the appraisal, and the initial deposit as well. So although there's no down payment, there's still money due on a VA loan. So in this scenario, you'll be in the low 2000s. If you're doing an FHA loan at 3.5% down, you'd be in the low to mid 2000s, right around 2,300. If you're going conventional 5%, you'd be right around 22. Let's say you want to buy it as a second home, 10% down, you'd be right around 2,100. And if you want to buy it as a 20% down, you'd be right around 1,855. When you're buying it as a 20% down scenario, I actually have loan products that don't require income verification. So if you're cash heavy, but your tax returns aren't looking that good, that profitable, I have solutions for you where we can help you buy the house. And what they basically do is, it's called the DSCR loan. So is DSCR, debt service coverage ratio. They're gonna send the appraiser out to do two type of appraisals: the value of the home and what it could potentially rent for. And then they have these ratios that they have to kind of calibrate, so that if it's a certain ratio from like the value to what the potential rental could be to what the potential payments are, then sometimes they'll have you bridge the gap a little bit with some extra cash. But in a perfect scenario, you'd be like at 15-20% down with these DSCR products with no income verification. Something that some people don't know also is when you're putting 20% down, your PITI, so a mortgage is broken into a PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. But when you're at 20% down, you're able to waive escrows where they'll separate your taxes and insurance, so you can cash flow better monthly by just charging the principal and the interest, and then your taxes and insurance can be paid separately once a year. Let's talk about some of the top employers in Citrus County. So we have Citrus County School District, Citrus Memorial Health Foundation, Tenet Health System, Publix, Lowe's, Winn-Dixie, Home Depot, FedEx, and the VA. These are some home buying tips, or one home buying tip that a lot of people don't know. So let's say you're putting an offer today and you have a potential closing date of September 18th, let's just say. Depending on where you close in the month, your fees at closing, your closing costs are going to be different. They're going to be higher if you close earlier in the month, and they're going to be lower if you close later in the month, because there's a collection of prepaid interest that's happening when they're calculating your closing costs. And a lot of people don't know this, but the following month, the mortgage payment's not due yet, so you get a few weeks to breathe. They don't skip a payment, but they skip a month. So if you're closing, let's say you call me, we're in contract August 19th, and we're closing September 19th. Your first payment won't be till November, because in October, the payment's not due yet. In November, they'll charge the interest that you would have paid like in October. So you get to skip a month. So you get to save some money there in case you're, in between a rental and a property, or depending on your scenario. I want to go over the home buying process in Florida and kind of walk you guys through like what that would look like. So if we're looking for financing, I'm a licensed mortgage loan originator at a mortgage broker. So I'm able to shop 61 different lenders to figure out which is going to be the best deal for you. And if you're 6 months out or further, we can actually start, if you would like, with an actual soft credit pull. Just let me know. But if you're like within 3 to 4 months, we recommend going straight for the hard credit pull. Once we figure it out, your finances, your goal, and what you're kind of looking to do, we got to figure out what type of agreement you want to be in. So we got to figure out what type of agreement you want to be in, whether it's an exclusive buyer broker agreement or like a temporary showing agreement. In those agreements, we'll go over the different protections that you have, and then we'll give you kind of like my personal guidance. The easiest way to kind of collaborate with me on like your journey is I get your criteria either from you over the phone, via text, via email, or what most people do is they fill out the QR code and they'll just fill out the VIP list, and then I get the notification and I start sending properties to you. No matter how we set it up, it's going into my search site, which is going to give you access to the properties in real time. And it's better to do it that way because you'll get the emails right away versus waiting for these videos to come out, and then the properties could sometimes be pending, because I'll sometimes have 11 videos that I'm recording. So that's going to be one of the best ways to kind of collaborate is on my home search site. Now, once we've figured out which properties that you like, we're going to talk about potentially writing an offer. So we're going to go over the contract in a few moments as well to show you what that looks like. And part of writing the offer is figuring out your initial deposit, how much of an escrow deposit you want to put in, and the protective clauses that go into writing an offer. Two of the big ones are the home inspection and the appraisal contingency as well. Those are two of the biggest protective clauses, I would say. There's a few more, but those are two big. So once we're under contract and we've already got like into like underwriting and everything, there's gonna be document submission. My processor is gonna reach out to get more documents from you. and it's gonna feel annoying because you're gonna be like resubmitting documents you submitted earlier, but it's because some of them have like expired, like an older bank statement and they want the new one, or like an older pay stub and they want the new one. The underwriter's reviewing it to get what's called the clear to close. Once we're clear to close, we have to sign the final paperwork, fund the transaction, and then celebrate. What you wanna do is, when you're buying a house, is you wanna look into the homestead exemption. You wanna do your research on the HOA and CDD fees if you're buying in an HOA community, and some of the new construction benefits as well. That's gonna be a little bit overview there of like what the home buying process looks like. I wanna go over like what a sample contract looks like so you can be prepared if you're writing an offer. Now, these contracts are written by lawyers and they're given to us as templates, and we could just pretty much fill out the different parts of the contract that we need to fill out. So for example, section 1 right over here, numbers 1 and 2, these little tiny numbers right here, is gonna be where the parties are. So the seller's name and the buyer's name is gonna go here. Right over here in this section, it's gonna outline the property description. So like by address, county, tax ID, and legal description. This section is gonna outline what personal property is included with the property itself. Fun fact, if a washer and dryer is included, it's not gonna show here, but we have to manually write it here. And then whatever is excluded from the property purchase has to be written here. And in some scenarios that I've seen in my past is a special chandelier, a light fixture, specific ceiling fan, a Ring doorbell sometimes that they wanna exclude, certain refrigerators, and then they'll switch them out. They'll have the fancy refrigerator out and the beat up one in the garage, and then you'll see the house fall in love with the refrigerator, fall in love with the house, and then like they'll say, no, it's coming with a refrigerator, it's not that refrigerator. So they have to put in writing what's being excluded, or if anything's like being shuffled around, so that there's no surprises at closing. Right over here is gonna be where you're gonna put your purchase price. So we're definitely in the market now to get deals, but there's a strategy behind it. For example, I work with a lot of new construction and I'm all about my client, but I'm also realistic and I know what the builders are looking for. I've had builders that would give you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 off. That won't come off the price, but they'll do it in different sorts of incentives and packages and upgrades. And the reason why they do that is because they have to preserve their price points and they have to keep appraising properties higher and higher so they don't keep losing money on future homes that they're trying to sell. So I'll see like a builder with a home that's sitting on the market that won't reduce the price that much, but they'll give you everything as far as incentives go. So keep that in mind. But when a builder is closing out of a community, they'll do anything. They lower the price, they'll give you the incentives. They're just trying to get out of that community. But when they're still building in different phases, they're trying to be careful about their future sales. Whatever the price we decide to put here, the initial deposit, if it's like financing, is anywhere between 1%, and if it's cash, it's like 10% down. You don't send me any money or the seller. It's a third party, a title company that handles all of the monies, and we'll put the title company's information right over here. This section here is gonna outline how much is being financed. So if you're buying a house for $100,000 and you're putting 10% down, this would say 90% here. Most commonly, like an FHA loans, like 3.5% down, this would say like 96.5%. And then over here, we'll show you, the system will do the math for you. It'll show us to closes, not including closing costs, prepaids and prorations. And I'll show you what closing costs are in a moment. But when you hear the words prepaids and prorations, prepaids are things that you're prepaying, you're paying in advance. So like, for example, homeowners insurance, you're prepaying in advance. Prorations, they're prorating the taxes. Prepaying some insurance, some interest is being prepaid as well. So there's different items that are prepaid and or prorated. Now, this is where we're gonna give the seller about 1 to 2 days to consider our offer. And this is where we'll put the closing date, where we wanna close like on or before 30 days. And then if you guys want me to send you a copy of this contract, just reach out to me. I'll give you this sample contract. So I'll move slowly down so you can kind of read it. And if you wanna pause whenever. This section here, it's gonna outline if the property is subject to lease or occupancy after closing, which is common if you're buying like an investment property, or if the seller wants to stay past closing for whatever reason. Assignability has to do if we're making the contract assignable. That's more for like investors. This section here, right, super, super important. It's gonna outline the beginning of one of the contingencies, which is the financing contingency. So I'll check off the second box. Well, if it's cash, it's just the first box, it's cash. But if it's financing, check out the second box. If it's conventional, fixed, or FHA, fixed, or VA, fixed. You have to pay attention to your financing contingency because your deposit is protected, but you have to make sure that you're not failing to use good faith and diligent effort to obtain your loan approval during your loan approval period. What I mean by that is if you're hiding things from your lender, they're not going to be able to protect your deposit. You should hire a lawyer at that point, because the lender's not going to put their reputation on the line and say, I gave this pre-approval and this person should have qualified and I made a mistake. They're going to literally not air you out, but they're not going to protect you when it comes to, like, you know, your deposit. You got to figure it out on your own if you lie to your lender. And this is going to be the section that's going to cover some of the closing costs. So a lot of first-time home buyers come to me and they say, okay, I want 50 grand off the price, all my closing costs paid, and throw in the Corvette that's in the driveway. And, you know, they come up with these fantasy of these crazy, amazing deals in their head. But something that you got to realize is both parties actually have closing costs when you're selling a house and when you're buying a house. And at the time of this video, the sellers pay both commissions. Buyers can pay commission as well. I got one scenario right now where the buyer's paying me a commission, but mostly it's the sellers paying commission. So they're paying the commissions and they're paying their own fees to actually sell this house. Whereas the buyers pay their own fees to buy the house. So just some of the fees here. This is the title evidence section. You want to make sure you have clear title. And then this is going to be where it'll talk about the closing agent and who's designating them and who's paying for the owner's policy. The owner's policy is like an insurance on the property's paperwork, so that if anything pops up later, like a mechanic's lien or something against the property, you'll be able to file a claim with a title company to, like, kind of protect you there. I think I've only heard of like one of those happening in one of my transactions. I forgot what it was, but it got cleared right away. Home warranty right over here. The property has a warranty, and then any special assessments will be outlined here in those two options. Radon gas, permits disclosure, mode, flood zone, energy brochure. I'll just keep moving slowly to our next contingency. You have to pause the video and read this, the property right to cancel inspection period. So house is brand new, beautiful home, but you should get an inspection just to make sure there's no issues. And we're gonna put a number in here. Typically it's like 7 days, where you're gonna hire an inspector and they're gonna go inspect it. They're gonna find issues, give you the report, and then you tell me what the deal breakers are and we renegotiate. I've never seen a home, not even in the millions of dollars, that was absolutely perfect with no inspection issues. The inspectors are always gonna find something. It just comes down to, like, what's like a deal breaker. You know, something cosmetic may not bother you as much, and they're not gonna redo a whole kitchen for like a small cosmetic issue, for example. But if it's like an electrical or a functionality issue, then yeah, they're gonna have to like rectify it. But you get to pick and choose like what you wanna negotiate within the time period that you put in this inspection section here. Walkthrough and re-inspection. This is gonna outline your rights there as well. Seller assistance and cooperation in closing out of building permits. It's gonna be there. This is gonna outline the escrow agent and the broker. This is gonna outline default and dispute resolution. So what happens if the buyer defaults, the seller defaults, how the dispute resolution is gonna go down, the attorney's fees, the costs. This is the standards for the real estate transaction. So these standards here are gonna talk about title examination, survey, ingress, egress, lease information, liens. Time is of the essence in the contract. So when you get on the contract, that's day 0, and then the next day is day 1. Some people don't know that. Some people think contract day is day 1. No, it's day 0. Force majeure, in case anything like acts of God happen, or like something happens with like a hurricane or something where the house is like wiped off, or war or something crazy. That's gonna cover like your rights there. Conveyance here, closing location, documents, and procedures. This is gonna outline how the closing is gonna happen. And when you're buying a home, I've sold homes completely remotely. So people in Canada, Dominican Republic, England, California, Texas, New York, Minnesota, so many different states. There's mobile notaries, there's, you know, home inspectors that will help you, you know, do a good report. There's a way to buy it completely remotely, but I always recommend if you can, come do it in person. But if you can't, then we have options for you as well. This would be about turn 31 exchanges. And then I'm gonna show you the section that's gonna cover the addenda, which is plural to addendum. So an addenda is gonna be something that we're adding to the contract that's adding something to the deal. For example, if it's in a condominium, we want to add a condominium rider and outline that, hey, this is a condominium. If it's in an HOA, you want to do that. If we're going with seller financing, there's an addendum for that where we're going to outline the seller financing terms and everything. Mortgage assumption, FHA financing. Some of the common ones that I use are appraisal contingencies, FHA financing, sale of buyer's property. If you're selling a home, you don't have to wait to actually put out offers. I've got multiple transactions done where we put an offer before the home is even listed. You're watching this video, you haven't even listed your house yet, and you think that there's no chance. Well, it's possible that there might be a desperate seller out there that will take your offer. And sometimes having a home you're gonna move to, puts a pep in your step, and you might be motivated to move faster and be more realistic with the price you're gonna list it at. But we've done that, sale of buyer's property. Seller's agreement with respect, capital R, to buyer broker compensation, so me getting paid. So in these scenarios of these homes that we're helping people buy, we're asking the sellers to pay my compensation, so you don't have to. If you need closing costs, so we would put it here, like all parties agree that seller will contribute $10,000 towards buyer's closing costs and prepaids. And then at the closing, when they're balancing out all the fees and everything of like what this is gonna cost and everything, you're gonna see the sales price at the top, and at the very bottom, you're gonna see what the seller's gonna walk away with and what the buyer's gonna bring to closing. And in the middle, it's gonna be all these debits and credits. That's what a settlement statement looks like. And if you want a sample settlement statement, let me know, and I could probably put on the next video so I can give you guys an idea of what that looks like. So that's gonna be what that contract looks like. I wanna show you guys on a map where we're located and what's around us. We are at 2868 West Manitoba Place in Citrus Springs. A lot of realtors don't like showing the addresses. I'm not sure why, but there's the address of the property. I made you wait like 40 minutes to get it, but you got it. We are down here. Marion Oaks is up here. Ocala's up here. We got Tampa down here somewhere. And then Orlando's over here somewhere. And then Gainesville's up here. So there are people who don't want to be this close to the water, so they'll move more towards Ocala. It depends on what your situation is. So if you want to go over here, this is a little bit closer to the water. Now I want to show you guys like some points of interest. So let's say we wanted to figure out where we are located. So first things first, let's see how far we are from the airport. Orlando International Airport, about 2 hours away. And then let's say we're going to Tampa Airport. We are about 1 hour and 19 minutes. So an hour and a half to 2 hours away between the airports. Does Gainesville have an airport? I think they do. I know Ocala has a small airport, so does Sanford. So you're about an hour and 16 minutes from the Gainesville airport. So in each direction to the airports, unless you got like a private jet or something closer, there are homes like in Ocala that have like private jets right there in their backyards. It's pretty cool. You are an hour and a half to 2 hours away from the actual airports. Now, let's say we want to go to a beach. Not really a beach guy, but Daytona Beach, 2.3 hours away. Clearwater Beach, we are about 2 hours away. So within 2 hours, you'll be able to make it to the beaches, right? 2 hours or less. Let's say you want to go to grocery stores. So you got 6 miles away. You're going to have the Nellen Discount Grocery. You're going to have Publix 7 miles away. You're going to have Walmart about 7 miles away. Target is about 7 miles away. So, you look at this house, right? And fenced in, over a quarter acre, brand new, really affordable price. And you say to yourself, I don't even know where I'm at. But then you say to yourself, what are the essentials of what I need around me for me to, be okay? And there's employers in the area, there's schools, there's jobs, there's all these different things in the area. Let's say you want to go to the movies. You have a movie theater within 15 miles away. So boom, you have a Regal Cinema where on Tuesdays, I think it's like $7 or something. So you get a good deal on Tuesdays there. Let's say you want to see how far the hospital is. We got one about 10 miles away, Tampa General Hospital. So that's in Crystal River. So we're about 10 miles away. Crystal River is not too far from there. Let's say you want to go to the theme parks. So you want to live in Florida instead of living like in a different state, and you want to be closer to the theme parks, but you want to be in an affordable area. This is definitely the area to be in, and you're less than 2 hours away from Universal. SeaWorld's next door to Universal, so you're not too far away from there. Disney's about an hour 40 depending on traffic, and if you want to go to Peppa Pig Land or Legoland, it's over 2 hours away. So that's going to give you like an idea of like where this property is located. If you found any value in this video, drop a like on the video, consider subscribing to the channel. We're on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you for staying to the end. Follow me on the social medias, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.